Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be, could I have prevented the breakup? Well, I've got an email from a guy who says had a pretty great relationship for about 5 months, and then they had a little rough patch during vacation. And his girlfriend started suggesting or hinting at a breakup. And he was bothered by the things that she was saying. Plus, there was a value conflict that they just had different values. He didn't elaborate what they were. But after that, and the fact that she's suggesting a breakup, he says what he basically decided to do was to push her to break up with him and then go no contact and have her have the attitude of, oh, well, guess what your life will be like without me now? And so now he's broken up with her. He's in no contact and he's gone, oh, shit. Did I do the right thing? And so this is something this brings up a memory for me. A girl I was really in love with, and I had a pretty good relationship. But we'd been together for a while, and I'd gotten complacent, wasn't paying attention. I got caught up, and she said something to me that totally caught me off guard. And I called her to ask her to, or maybe she called me. I can't remember. But we were on the phone. And I asked her, this was like earlier in the week, Monday, Tuesday, and I asked her about getting together. And I had been kind of cold and distant, and she could tell, and she'd made a mention about that the last time we were together. And she says, I don't know, I think you need to take some time apart and really think about us and if you really want this. And I didn't understand at the time, but what she's really doing, because women will say it's not because they really want to break up with you, but because they're trying to find out if you want to break up with them, because what they're feeling is they're starting to feel like you don't care and you don't give a shit. And so they want to make it easy for you to dip out. And I, being young and dumb and didn't know any better, was, like, what was I, 31, 32, I think at the time? Maybe it was 33, I can't remember. I think it was 33. Maybe it was 32. Anyways, it was a long time ago. So the point being is this, we're on the phone, this conversation, what she said totally caught me off guard. And I was like, shit, how do I respond to that? Because, I was surprised. She'd been chasing me, always wanting to get together. And here she's, I asked her to do something. She's like, well, I don't know. I think we need some time apart. And you need to take some time and figure out what you want, figure out how you feel about us, how you feel about our relationship. And I was like, okay. And so I did nothing. And then the weekend came. I didn't hear from her. And another week went by. It was like, and then it just kind of started a series of events where it spiraled out of control. And what I should have said, which obviously as I got older and I got more experienced and was able to look at it, because I thought, oh, she'll call me in a week or two. No big deal. Then 2 weeks went by and we hadn't talked. And then when we did talk, she was really pissed off. I didn't understand what to do. I didn't understand it at the time. This was before I had gotten together with my English girlfriend and really kind of closed the gap on communication and issues and things like that, because I still had some knowledge gaps at the time. I still didn't have all the dots connected. And so it ended up leading to her and I breaking up. But if I was to go back in time, what would I have done differently? When she said, oh, I think you need to take some time apart and see how you feel, and maybe we shouldn't see each other this week, or whatever it was that she was saying, I would have just said, what are you talking about? I don't want any time apart. I haven't seen you in like 4 days. It's like, I want to see you. All she was really looking for was reassurance that I cared and loved her still, because I acted like I didn't give a shit. And what I later found out was when I hung up with her and was like okay with not seeing her, when she told me we should, I think you should take some time apart. When I said okay, to her, it was like, he doesn't love me. He doesn't care about me. And she broke down crying, called her brother, who she's really close to. Hey, he doesn't love me anymore. He wants to break up. Ah. I didn't know. I have found this out months later after all this happened. But at the time, it was like, it led to the breakup of my relationship, because I didn't understand what she was doing. Women will suggest a breakup sometimes because they're getting the feeling that you don't want to be together, that you don't care. And so they throw that out there to make it easy for you to dip out if you don't really want to be with them. And I didn't know enough, and I fucked up. It led to the end of my relationship, and it stung like a motherfucker. It took me a year and a half to really get over the sting of that. And especially looking back on it, I was like, man, was that stupid? And we laughed about it years later, but that was life. But looking back on it, there was things that happened in my life that were critical to my success. So I look at it as, look, what happened happened, and it couldn't have happened any other way. But there's going to be guys, lots of guys over the years, are going to watch this video, and they're going to hear that same kind of a phrase or question. They're going to go, aha, I know how to respond to that. I don't want any time apart. I haven't seen you in 4 days, dumbass. I'm coming over. I'm coming over to see you. What are you talking about? I miss you, freak. And then go see her. So he says, so let's go to the emailer. He says, hi, Coach. I appreciate you taking the time to read my message. I've been a follower of your material for years, finding great success in securing the woman of my dreams. However, I recently faced a setback and lost her. Everything was going smoothly during our 5 months of dating until we went on a holiday where things took a turn for the worse. We had a few arguments, and I made a mistake by displaying signs of a lack of self-control. Well, obviously from the book, men who understand women don't argue with them. Additionally, she had an altercation on the plane with another person. That motherfucker ain't real, man. You guys see that meme that was on Twitter? The girl's pretty hot, by the way. Now she's world famous for like, he's not real. It's not real. Additionally, she had an altercation on the plane with another person, which I didn't witness, and regretfully, I didn't back her up. Well, you weren't there. I don't know what kind of an altercation was. Was she throwing down? Was it like the people of Walmart kind of fight? Like, what was really going on the plane? That fucker's, he ain't real, man. Not real. He's invisible. Something going on. This incident seemed to change the dynamics of our relationship. Yeah, if you didn't stand up for her, then she's not going to feel safe trusting your masculine core, and that will definitely... It's just like if you allow one of your family members to berate your girlfriend or your wife, and then you just watch this and you just let it happen, she's going to feel you're not protecting her. She's not going to feel safe with you. So he didn't really elaborate, but it seemed like whatever happened before he got there. So I don't know how he didn't back her up. But the bottom line is he communicated he wasn't going to stand up for her. Not that you should be throwing down on planes and getting kicked off, because then you could be the next internet meme. That fucker's not real, man. A week after the holiday, we had a phone call during which she expressed feeling unsafe and misunderstood. Yeah. She also mentioned a couple of opposing values, and considering our desire to settle down in our 30s, she didn't want to waste our time. So in other words, she's kind of doing what my girlfriend from the past said. And if you really love her and you want to, it's like, I don't look at it. So my response to that would be, I don't think we're wasting our time. Yeah, we got some value conflicts or whatever. And yeah, you should have apologized for not standing up for her and not making her feel safe. And, I'm sorry, I wasn't there. I should have handled it better. You're right. I'm sorry I made you feel that way. Although she wasn't 100% sure about breaking up, you have to assume that she's just suggesting it because she doesn't think you want to be with her. Or maybe you're also giving her the feeling that you can't handle being with her, especially if you're losing your shit. He says, I, unfortunately, lost my composure and pushed her to end the relationship. Yeah, if a girl suggests a breakup and you don't want to break up, just say, don't mention a breakup to me. It's like, that's not good. It's like, we have a problem, let's work it out. But constantly throwing in my face, breaking up. I mean, now, there are times when somebody's behavior is abusive and crossing the line. If they won't stop, then unfortunately, that's the only thing you can do. Either that or you just endure the abuse or the nastiness. He says, despite having good times together, I asserted that I deserved better and insisted she leave me if she was unsure. We were supposed to meet for a date a few days later, but it seemed she had made up her mind, and I ultimately initiated her to break up. But he was still mad, and he's still stewing about it. I'll break up with her first. Ha! That'll show her. Now, in hindsight, I'm questioning whether I handled the situation correctly. Well, one thing I gotta say, it's always easy to look back and, just like I did. But, hey, man, what happened, happened, and it couldn't have happened any other way. And so this was a lesson you were destined to learn. Now, whether or not you get back together, that's up to you. But Obviously, there's a value conflict and you are arguing with her. So that's why I say read the book 10 to 15 times so you can communicate. But it requires a normal, healthy woman in order to be able to do that. I thought pushing her to break up, followed by going no contact, would allow her to experience life without me and potentially come back. Yeah, I probably wouldn't be doing that. Because you never know. There could be Chad Thundercock waiting in the wings, male orbiters, the guy from The Office. It's just, I want to get my chance. Do you think I made a mistake? Well, if you didn't want to break up and you pushed her to break up, well, obviously, I made a mistake. I fucked up. And it turned out okay. You know, we went our separate ways, but, you know, we still occasionally, we will see each other, even all these years later. So it's not the end of the world. If we're both single at the same time, hell yeah, I'd love to get together. That's what's cool about going through life, and you don't really appreciate it till you get older, is relationships with people. And not just good friends, but sometimes good lovers. If you have a mature relationship and you don't feel like you're missing out, but you do love and care for one another and you do want to see each other from time to time, I think that's pretty cool. Most people are not going to be cool with it, but I'm just not like most of you people. I'm just the way I am. If I was, I would have never figured all this shit out and connected all these dots that you guys get to benefit from. Could I have prevented the breakup? Yeah, but what happened happened, and it couldn't have happened any other way. Should I have waited to discuss this in person? Probably, but you were upset and butthurt. And it's not like she was, you know, she's suggesting the end of the relationship. And you just said, oh yeah, well then let's definitely end our relationship. He says, I'd appreciate your insights and any mistakes I made and guidance on what steps I can take next. Well, if you've broken up and she said, hasta la vista, baby, then you're going to be following what's in 7 Principles Get an X Back. You got to be congruent with your words. And get back out there. You were only together 5 months anyways. You got to get back out there, start meeting and dating new women and applying what's in the book. You should read it and learn it and become a master at it. Because if you're arguing with your girlfriend, then you're not communicating with her. Now, again, I'm assuming she's a happy, healthy, normal woman that can communicate like an adult and is capable of that. Not all women are. Some women are just insufferable and unbearable to be with, and they'll make your life hell. And those women you shouldn't waste your time with. But I'm going to assume in this case that you're able to talk with her, but you shouldn't be arguing with her. That tells me you don't know the book well enough. You're doing things that are the opposite of what it teaches. That's why when I read these emails, as a coach, here's the list of fundamentals of what works, and then here's what they're doing, and my job is to point out what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, and what they need to do differently so they can display their most attractive side so they can get the outcomes that they want. Not here to be your priest or your judge or to say you need to stay with one person forever. Obviously, I'm not of that mindset. I know a lot of guys that get mad at me because I haven't been with one woman my whole life, and they use that to try to dismiss my work or ignore the things I say at their own peril. But it is what it is. What creates attraction is what creates attraction. Doesn't matter what cultural or religious or spiritual background you're in. What works is what works. And I'm just here to teach the fundamentals. And what you do with that, how long you stay with the girl or girls that you're with, is up to you, not me. I'm not interested in living my life according to other people's expectations. And you know what? You should not be either. You got to do what's right for you. You can't live your life according to other people's expectations. So, like I said, the steps that you take next is you should be reading and following what's in the article and video, 7 Principles Get an X Back. And when you hear from her, assume she wants to see you, make a date at your place, hang out, have fun, hook up. But get back into the book and fill in your knowledge gap. Learn the rest of the information so you're not just cherry picking the seduction and dating techniques and then you just completely miss out on all the relationship stuff and how all of these techniques between pickup, dating, and relationships work together. You got to understand all of it. You can't just half-ass it. And, unfortunately, when I go through these emails, I'm going through the emails because the guys usually didn't listen unless it's a success story. So you've got to display constantly attractive behavior. And if you fuck up, you fuck up. It's not the end of the world. If you screwed up and it led to the end of your relationship, well, it was supposed to be that way. Now, should you or shouldn't you get back together? It depends. Was it a good girl and did you just display a lot of unattractive behavior that turned her off. Well, if that's the case, fix your behavior. She'll probably be back in touch, and then make a date, and then slowly rebuild the relationship, just like it's laid out in 7 Principles to Get an Ex Back. And if you have a situation where you're still, despite the book and the emails, you're going, man, I'd really like to run this by Corey and see what he says. Go to understandingrelationships.com, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and book a coaching session with yours truly. Until next time, I will talk to you soon.